Julius Caesar didn't stumble into greatness. He sprinted toward it with military genius, political cunning, and an ego bigger than the Roman Forum. Born into the patrician Julian family in 100 BCE, he quickly became known for his ambition and charisma. By his mid-30s, Caesar had already aligned himself with powerful allies, including Pompey the Great and Crassus, forming the First Triumvirate, a political triangle of shared self-interest and mutual distrust. It didn't last, but Caesar did. His military campaigns in Gaul were nothing short of legendary. Over nearly a decade, he expanded Roman territory, amassed vast wealth, and built a loyal army that answered to him alone. These victories made him a hero to the people, but a growing threat to the Senate, whose members began wondering if Caesar's sword was sharper than their laws. That suspicion intensified when the triumvirate collapsed. Pompey sided with the Senate, and Caesar committed what many saw as treason, crossing the Rubicon River in 49 BCE with his army, signaling a declaration of civil war. It was bold, illegal, and spectacularly effective. Caesar defeated Pompey and took control of Rome. But he didn't stop at being dictator. He became dictator perpetuo, dictator for life, a title that triggered alarm bells throughout the Republic. Too many senators, this shift smelled like monarchy, a political form Romans despised ever since ousting their last kings centuries earlier. Caesar's public behavior didn't help. He wore royal purple, sat on a golden throne, and minted coins with his face on them, and act reserved for gods and dead people. Rumors swirled that he aimed to be king, and whether or not that was true, perception became reality. His tolerance of flattery and his disregard for republican customs began alienating even his closest allies. Then came the final straw. Caesar began sidelining the Senate entirely, passing laws unilaterally, filling it with loyalists, and rejecting traditional debate. The body once central to Roman governance now looked like an audience at a one-man show. He pardoned enemies, including Brutus and Cassius, perhaps believing that mercy was stronger than fear. Ironically, this act of goodwill sowed the seeds of betrayal. A group of senators, calling themselves liberators, decided that killing Caesar was the only way to save the Republic. On the Ides of March, March 15th, 44 BC, Caesar entered the theater of Pompey. Ironically, the monument to the man he'd defeated. He was surrounded and stabbed 23 times by conspirators, including Brutus, Cassius, and others he considered friends. His death was brutal and chaotic, intended as a statement against tyranny. But rather than restore the Republic, it unleashed a series of civil wars and ushered in the very empire Caesar might have dreamed of. In the end, Julius Caesar's downfall was not due to madness or incompetence. It was rooted in his refusal to share power, his willingness to reshape Rome around himself, and the belief that brilliance exempted him from the rules of balance and restraint. His murder was political theater with lethal consequences, and his legacy remains both iconic and cautionary.